Hello, everyone. Sue.oneschuk here, continuing the workbook lessons of A Course in Miracles. And today we are on lesson 235. And the lesson is, God in his mercy wills that I be saved. And it reads, I need but look upon all things that seem to hurt me, and with perfect certainty assure myself, God wills that I be saved from this, and merely watch them disappear. I need only keep in mind my Father's will for me is only happiness, to find that only happiness has come to me. And I need only remember that God's love surrounds his Son and keeps his sinlessness forever perfect, to be sure that I am saved and safe forever in his arms. I am the son he loves, and I am saved because God in his mercy wills it so. And the prayer is, Father, your holiness is mine. Your love created me and made my sinlessness forever part of you. I have no guilt, nor sin in me, for there is none in you. And the lesson again is, God in his mercy wills that I be saved. So I'm going to today read from the text, and from chapter 4 on page 62 under section 4. And the title of that section is, This Need Not Be. I thought this might be helpful today in further reflecting on this lesson and to take something further into your day. So here is what is written. And I always remember that Jesus has written this book, that it was Helen Schucman was a scribe, and she had the conversation with Jesus to create this book, this course, I should say, and the book. All right, so here's what this section has to say to us. Again, it is, this need not be. And it says, if you cannot hear the voice for God, it is because you do not choose to listen. Now, these lessons right now, I'm going to interject as I'm going along here, are asking us to be still, and to really go within and have, the heartfelt experience of this course. And in being that still, that is being in the stillness, I should say, is that opportunity to truly listen to God. So it's important to really make that commitment to take some time to be still throughout the day. And it goes on to say that you do listen, though, to the voice of your ego, or that you do listen to the voice of your ego is demonstrated by your attitudes, your feelings, and your behavior. Yet, this is what you want. We really have to be honest with ourselves here, radically honest as we're doing this course. This is what you are fighting to keep and what you are vigilant to save. Your mind is filled with schemes to save the face of your ego. I'm going to say of your false identity. And you do not seek the face of Christ. I'm going to say your true identity with a capital I, your holy self. Goes on to say the glass in which the ego seeks to see its face is dark indeed. How can it maintain the trick of its existence except with mirrors? You know, again, the world is not being done to us, it's being done by us. And the world is not coming at us, it's coming from us. So the world is mirroring those brothers and sisters that we're triggered by, the situations that we are reacting to, the things that we're in confusion of. Those are all mere reflections of what is going on within ourselves, within yourself. And again, I want to say that's the gift, that's the contrast. Not to make ourselves wrong for the contrast, that we are judging it or that we are in any of those states of confusion. It goes on to say, but where you look to find yourself is up to you. We have choice, always have choice. It goes on to say, Jesus says, I have said that you cannot change your mind by changing your behavior. But I have also said, and many times, that you can change your mind. And this is what this course is all about. It's mind training. And when your mood tells you that you have chosen wrongly, and this is so whenever you are not joyous, then no, this need not be. In every case, you have thought wrongly about some brother God created, and are perceiving images your ego makes in a darkened glass, like any judgments you have. Think honestly what you have thought that God would not have thought, and what you have not thought that God would have you think. Search sincerely for what you have done and left undone accordingly, and then change your mind to think with God's. And really, the only true mind is the mind of God. Otherwise, we're living an untruth. We're living a lie, actually. Because we are not an ego. The truth is that we are divine. The truth is that we are made in the image and likeness of God. So it said, this may seem hard to do, but it is much easier than trying to think against it. Your mind, again, here it says, is one with God's. Denying this and thinking otherwise has held your ego together, but has literally split your mind. As a loving brother, Jesus says, I am deeply concerned with your mind and urge you to follow my example as you look at yourself and at your brother, and see in both the glorious creations of the glorious Father. It's to call forth the Christ in our brother and sister if we find ourselves in any form of judgment. Well, first of all, to release that judgment, to give it over to the Holy Spirit so we have a shift in perception. And this is a beautiful prayer that's been given to me often and more again recently is, I call forth from the Christ in me, I call forth the Christ in you. So when you are sad, no, this need not be. Depression comes from a sense of being deprived of something you want and do not have. Remember that you are deprived of nothing except by your own decisions. And then decide otherwise. With God, all things are possible. And if we feel deprived, it's because we are not living from an abundance consciousness. We're living from scarcity, the scarcity principle, the fear of loss, lack. So it says, when you are anxious, realize that anxiety comes from the capriciousness of the ego. And no, this need not be. You can be as vigilant against the ego's dictates as for them. And when you feel guilty, remember that the ego has indeed violated the laws of God, but you have not. You've not, because you're not an ego. Leave the sins of the ego to me, Jesus says. That is what atonement is for. But until you change your mind about those whom your ego has hurt, the atonement cannot release you. While you feel guilty, your ego is in command, because only the ego can experience guilt. This need not be. Watch your mind for the temptations of the ego, and do not be deceived by it. The ego, it offers you nothing. I want to add here, God offers you everything. And when you have given up this voluntary dispiriting, you will see how your mind can focus and rise above fatigue and heal. I want to read this again. When you have given up this voluntary dispiriting, you will see how your mind can focus and rise above fatigue and heal. Yet you are not sufficiently vigilant against the demands of the ego to disengage yourself. This need not be. The habit of engaging with God in his creations is easily made if you actively refuse to let your mind slip away. This takes discipline. The problem is not one of concentration. It is the belief that no one, including yourself, is worth consistent effort. There's where our unworthiness kicks in. Jesus says, side with me consistently against this deception. And do not permit this shabby belief to pull you back. The disheartened are useless to themselves and to me. But only the ego can be disheartened. Have you really considered how many opportunities you have to gladden yourself? And how many of them you have refused? There is no limit to the power of the Son of God, but he can limit the expression of his power as much as he chooses. Where are you limiting your power? You might want to ask yourself. Your mind and mine can unite in shining your ego away, Jesus says, releasing the strength of God into everything you think and do. Do not settle for anything less than this, and refuse to accept anything but this as your goal. Watch your mind carefully for any beliefs that hinder its accomplishment, and step away from them. Judge how well you have done this by your own feelings, your guidance system, internal guidance system. For this is the one right use of judgment. Judgment, like any other defense, can be used to attack or protect, to hurt or to heal. The ego should be brought to judgment and found wanting there. Without your own allegiance, protection, and love, the ego cannot exist. Let it be judged truly, and you must withdraw allegiance, protection, and love from it. You are a mirror of truth in which God himself shines in perfect light. To the ego's dark glass, you need but say, I will not look there because I know these images are not true. Then let the Holy One shine on you in peace, knowing that this and only this must be. His mind shone on you in your creation and brought your mind into being. His mind still shines on you and must shine through you. Your ego cannot prevent him, that's the him with a capital H, from shining on you, but it can prevent you from letting him, God, shine through you. The first coming of Christ is merely another name for the creation, for Christ is the Son of God. The second coming of Christ means nothing more than the end of the ego's rule and the healing of the mind. That's why we're doing this course, is to heal our minds. I was created like you in the first, Jesus says, and I have called you to join with me in the second. I am in charge of the second coming, and my judgment, which is used only for protection, cannot be wrong because it never attacks. Yours may be so distorted that you believe I was mistaken in choosing you. I assure you that this is a mistake of your ego. Do not mistake it for humility. Your ego is trying to convince you that it is real and that I am not. Because if I am real, I am no more real than you are. That knowledge, and I assure you that it is knowledge, means that Christ has come into your mind and healed it. Jesus says, I do not attack your ego. I do work with your higher mind, the home of the Holy Spirit. Whether you are asleep or awake, just as your ego does with your lower mind, which is its home. I am your vigilance in this, because you are too confused to recognize your own hope. I am not mistaken, Jesus says. Your mind will elect to join with mine, and together we are invincible. You and your brother will yet come together in my name, and your sanity will be restored. I raised the dead by knowing that life is an eternal attribute of everything that the living God created. Why do you believe it is harder for me to inspire the dispirited or to stabilize the unstable? I do not believe that there is an order of difficulty in miracles. You do. I have called you and you will answer. I understand that miracles are natural because they are expressions of love. My calling you is as natural as your answer and as inevitable. So that is a reading from chapter 4, section 4. And I hope that has been helpful for you today as you continue your practice of the lesson and also practicing this course in your day-to-day living. And remember, today's lesson was God in his mercy wills that I be saved. And that reading definitely gives us enough information to really take that in. Because it said God wills that I be saved from this, and merely watch them disappear. Watch, it says in here again in this lesson, I need only but look upon all things that seem to hurt me, and with perfect certainty I assure myself God wills that I be saved from this, and merely watch them disappear. All right. Thank you for being here. And as always, please go below and hit the like button. Comment. You can put a heart or an emoji in the comment section. Share this video out. And also, if you haven't already subscribed, please do so. And I want to thank those who have donated. Thank you from the bottom of my heart. And if you feel moved to do so, you can go below this video in the description area there, and it gives you direction as to how to donate. All right. I look forward to being with you in the next video, which will be for lesson 236. Until then, from my heart to yours, I extend much love to you. Bye for now.